What does it mean to dwell in silence amid a world that exalts the clamor of voices? Dear friends, picture a stillness so profound it reverberates louder than any crowd equated that bears the weight of wisdom, sculpted in the depths of an introspective heart. Welcome to ancient wisdom, where we unearth the timeless truths that shape our being. Today, we embark on a philosophical odyssey into the enigmatic power of those who speak sparingly yet resonate deeply. These are not mere bystanders in life's grand theater. They are the silent architects of resilience, masters of emotion, and bearers of unshakable purpose. Drawing from the rich wells of psychology, the annals of history, and the Stoic reflections of Marcus Aurelius, we'll explore why the ancients urged us to approach these quiet souls with reverence, for in their stillness lies a strength capable of moving mountains. This is no ordinary discourse. It's an invitation to gaze into the human spirit, to challenge our preconceptions, and to uncover the hidden virtues of introversion. Whether you find kinship with the introspective sage or the vibrant extrovert, there's wisdom here for all who seek it. Join us as ancient wisdom lights the way toward understanding the profound, often overlooked power of silence, a power that has shaped titans like Einstein, Buffett, and Jobs, and one that might just awaken the dormant potential within you. Let us begin this journey together, peeling back the layers of noise to reveal the quiet brilliance beneath. In the ceaseless hum of existence, where frogs croak without end and roosters crow to awaken the dawn, it is the silent figure amid the throng who often commands the deepest respect. Dear friends, philosophy, the love of wisdom, teaches us that those who embrace quietude are not mere passive onlookers. They are the custodians of a profound inner force. The louder the world grows, the more potent their stillness becomes, for they embody a paradox. In their restraint lies their might. As the ancients observed, the frog's endless chatter fades into the background, unnoticed by all, while the rooster's timely call stirs the cosmos with its resonance. So to do the silent ones, those who speak only when moved by purpose, shift the tides of human affairs when they choose to act. Psychology offers us a lens to understand this duality of human nature: the extrovert who thrives in the symphony of voices, weaving connections with ease, and the introvert who finds harmony in the quiet recesses of the self, crafting meaning in solitude. Neither is inherently superior, for each brings its own gifts to the tapestry of life. Yet, experience whispers a subtle truth: those who dwell in silence often wield a strength unrecognized by the untrained eye. Why then did our forebears caution us to tread carefully around these reticent souls? The answer unfolds into distinct portraits, each revealing a facet of the introvert's essence. First, there is the youthful introvert, tongue-tied not by wisdom but by inexperience, grappling with the chaos of expression, fearful of missteps that might expose their vulnerability. Their silence is a shield, a refuge from the overwhelming clamor of a world they have yet to master. Then there is the seasoned sage, sharp of mind, deep of heart, who speaks only when necessity demands, each word a honed arrow piercing the veil of superficiality. These latter souls, tempered by years of reflection, listen with an intensity that borders on the uncanny, probing the depths of others' intentions, their silence a crucible for piercing insight. Consider the luminaries who have walked this path, their lives a testament to the power of quietude. Albert Einstein, whose theories reordered our understanding of space and time, was a man of solitary contemplation, his genius blooming in the stillness of his study rather than the bustle of debate halls. Warren Buffett, the oracle of wealth, navigates the tumultuous seas of markets with a calm that belies his mastery, his decisions forged in the quiet of his own counsel. Steve Jobs, the visionary who birthed Apple, found solace not in ceaseless chatter, but in the meditative arts, reading, film, and Zen practice. In his autobiography, Jobs reveals a life of introversion, few friends, fleeting ties, and a deliberate distance from even his family. Yet, stand witness to him on stage, unveiling the fruits of his labor, his words precise, his presence commanding, his vision undeniable. Here lies the revelation. The silent ones do not lack the capacity for connection, they simply disdain the frivolous, favoring substance over shadow. Their eloquence emerges not in idle talk, but in moments of destiny, their voices resonant with purpose, cutting through the noise like a blade through silk. Contrast this with the extrovert's exuberance, a gift and a burden woven into one. The gregarious soul may forge bonds with ease, their words a bridge spanning countless hearts, their laughter a melody that draws others near. Yet, beneath this fluency often lies a fragility, a reliance on external validation that falters when the crowd disperses, leaving them adrift in the silence they so rarely inhabit. English psychologist Hans Eysen once posited a theory of low arousal, suggesting that introverts possess a heightened ability to filter the torrent of stimuli bombarding our senses. They sift through the noise with a discerning eye, preserving their energy for relationships of depth and pursuits of meaning, rather than scattering it across the fleeting winds of small talk. In their silence, they cultivate an emotional intelligence that rivals the most ardent orator's charm, a quiet power that discerns the unspoken, anticipates the unseen, and anchors them in a world perpetually in motion. The Chinese comedian Guiguzi Gang offers a poetic reflection on this dichotomy. On stage, I am one man, off it, another. Beneath the lights, I am reserved, shunning idle chatter, recoiling from the stranger's table. Herein lies a universal truth. Introverts wield their personas with intention, adapting to context while guarding their core. Their reticence is not aloofness but a deliberate stance, a shield against the trivial, a sword poised for the critical. When they speak, their words strike with precision, unmasking vulnerabilities others scarcely perceive, their insight will anton in the fog of human interaction. A 2018 study from Indiana University affirms this. Introversion correlates with heightened emotional intelligence, a capacity to read the human soul with uncanny clarity. These are not mere wallflowers shrinking from the light. They are sentinels of the psyche, their quiet a testament to their depth, their presence a quiet storm that reshapes the air around them. Yet, this strength is not without its shadow. The introvert's silence can intimidate, their inscrutability a mirror reflecting our own uncertainties back at us. To engage them requires finesse, for their trust is earned through authenticity, not won by bluster or hollow flattery. The extrovert may dazzle with spontaneity, their energy a fire that warms the room, but the introvert demands a dance of mutual respect, a dialogue where every step is measured, every gesture sincere. And so, we turn to the ancients for guidance, their wisdom echoing through the ages like a steady drumbeat. In the cacophony of life, they remind us that the silent ones, those who listen more than they proclaim, harbor resilience that endures beyond fleeting applause, a fortitude that stands firm when the winds of chaos howl. What, then, are the hallmarks of this introspective might? Philosophy unveils for virtues unique to those who tread the quiet path, each a pillar supporting their enigmatic strength. First, introverts amass power in stillness, their energy accruing unseen until it erupts with volcanic force. Like a river carving stone over centuries, they work in obscurity, their efforts meticulous, their results astonishing. This is no retreat from the world but a deliberate focus, a refusal to squander their essence on the ephemeral in favor of labors that endure. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, mused in his meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." The introvert embodies this creed, their tranquility a fortress against life's storms, their silence a canvas upon which they paint their greatest works. Second, they revel in independence, their solitude a sanctuary for thought and action. Far from loneliness, this is a chosen solitude, a space where ideas flourish, untainted by the crowd's clamor, where the self is both sculptor and stone. Nietzsche, in his Beyond Good and Evil, extolled the solitary thinker who forges truth from the crucible of self, unshackled by the chains of conformity. The introvert's autonomy is their crown, their decisions rooted in an inner compass unshaken by external tides. This is not isolation but liberation, a freedom to live authentically, unbound by the dictates of convention, a liberty to chart their own course through the vast sea of existence. Third, their focus is a beacon in a distracted age, a lighthouse cutting through the fog of modernity. Unswayed by the din of social clamor, they pour their essence into passions that ignite their spirit, their attention a laser honed on what matters most. Epictetus, the Stoic sage, taught that true freedom lies in desiring only what is within our grasp, relinquishing the futile chase for what lies beyond our control. The introvert heeds this, channeling their energy into mastery, be it the artistry of creation, the rigor of science, or the subtle craft of living well. Their dedication yields miracles, their triumphs a testament to the potency of undivided attention, their lives a proof that greatness is born not in noise, but in the quiet crucible of purpose. Fourth, they are wellsprings of creativity, their minds a tapestry of original thought woven from the threads of introspection. Buddhist philosophy speaks of mindfulness as a gateway to insight, a practice of dwelling fully in the present to unlock the treasures of the soul. The introvert lives this truth, their silence a forge for ideas both bold and intricate. To be extroverted is necessary for life, the ancients say, but to be introverted is to live authentically. This is no mere preference, it is a calling to align with one's deepest self, to craft a life of meaning amid the chaos, to weave a narrative that resonates with the eternal. Their thoughts, born in solitude, ripple outward, touching the world with a gentle yet indelible hand. Yet, the introvert's journey is not without its masks. Many don the guise of extroversion, a necessary armor in a world that prizes noise over depth, chatter over substance. This adaptability is itself a strength, a testament to their versatility, their capacity to navigate the social fray while preserving their essence. To live as oneself, unapologetically, is the truest mark of greatness, a philosophy ancient wisdom seeks to champion. If these words stir you, reflect. Are you the silent sage quietly shaping your destiny, or do you merely play the part to appease the crowd? The answer lies not in labels but in the courage to embrace your nature, to stand firm in your truth amid the tempest of expectation. Beyond the introspective soul, philosophy bids us master the art of discourse, kill the ancients deemed essential to wisdom, a bridge between minds in a fractured world. The Chinese sage Guiguzi offered four maxims for navigating human exchange, each a gem of Stoic pragmatism polished by centuries of insight. With the impoverished, speak with humility, for their pride is a fragile flame, easily extinguished by arrogance, yet quick to warm to genuine kindness. With the eloquent, wield necessity, cutting through verbosity to strike the heart of the matter, for their fluency demands clarity over flourish. With the wealthy, exude presence, for flattery breeds suspicion, while conviction earns respect, piercing the armor of their guarded hearts. With the petty, leverage benefit, for their souls sway only to the promise of gain, their motives tethered to self-interest. These are not mere tactics but a dance of empathy and strategy, a stoic balance of ethics and efficacy, a reminder that words are tools to be wielded with care. Yet, wisdom demands more than words, it calls for character, a foundation of virtue upon which all else rests. The ancients extolled benevolence as the cornerstone of a life well lived, a quality that promises not just personal peace, but a ripple of goodness through the cosmos. 6 traits define the benevolent soul, each a thread in the tapestry of human kindness. First, they refrain from blame, offering grace where others cast stones, their mercy a balm to the wounded. The Song dynasty official Han Ki, faced with a soldier's blunder that singed his hair, chose forgiveness over wrath, earning the loyalty of his men through a quiet act of compassion. Second, they fulfill their duties, extending care beyond kin to neighbors in need, a Confucian echo of universal kinship that binds us all in the web of existence. Third, they shun greed, sharing bounty with the less fortunate rather than hoarding it for themselves. Bao Shunya, a merchant of the spring and autumn period, gave generously to his struggling friend Wanzong, proving that true wealth lies not in accumulation, but in generosity, in the willingness to lift another's burden. Fourth, they empathize, stepping into others' shoes as Confucius did at a stranger's funeral, his sorrow a mirror of their grief, his heart attuned to the silent cries of loss. Fifth, they honor gratitude, repaying kindness with deeds that ripple through time. Ist reverence for the interdependence of all beings, a recognition that no act of goodness stands alone. Sixth, they forgive, their magnanimity a balm to human frailty. As Marcus Aurelius urged, be tolerant with others and strict with yourself, a maxim that elevates the soul above petty grudges. This benevolence is no passive trait, but a dynamic Stoic resolve to sculpt a world of compassion amid its harshness, to stand as a beacon of light in a landscape often shadowed by indifference. Yet, philosophy warns that virtue untested is mere potential, a seed unplanted in the soil of experience. A young man, brimming with talent yet thwarted by fate, stood poised to end his life, his spirit crushed by a society that failed to see his worth. Saved by an elder's parable, he learned a timeless truth, a pebble, indistinguishable among stones, goes unnoticed, a gem, polished by adversity, commands all. So too must we be honed by trials, by learning, by the relentless pursuit of truth. Nietzsche's eternal recurrence bids us live as though each moment repeats infinitely, a challenge to craft a life worthy of eternity. The Stoics demand we rise from each fall, our scars a testament to our strength. Only through such forging do we unearth our brilliance, transforming the raw of our being into something radiant. Life, dear friends, is a crucible, a forge where the soul is tested and tempered. The ancients knew that greatness emerges not from ease but from struggle. Marcus Aurelius, Meditations a testament to resilience. Epictetus, Discipline a shield against despair, their words a lifeline through the darkest nights. To live with tolerance, to sow love, is to reap a harvest of serenity, a peace that transcends the fleeting pleasures of the world. Yet, this requires release, abandoning the futile grasp for control, embracing the flux of existence as it unfolds. As Buddhism teaches, clinging breeds suffering, letting go begets peace, a liberation from the chains of desire that bind us to illusion. If these insights resonate, let them guide you not as dogma, but as lanterns on the path to wisdom, illuminating the way through the shadows of doubt. The silent strength of the introspective soul is not a gift bestowed upon a chosen few. It is a potential latent in us all, waiting to be awakened. Consider the frog and the rooster. Once more the frog's noise is forgotten, a mere echo in the wind, while the rooster's call marks the turning of the day. So, to do the silent ones leave their mark, they're quieted a canvas for actions that endure. Einstein's equations, Buffett's wealth, Jobs' innovations, all born in moments of stillness, all proof that the greatest revolutions begin within. Philosophy bids us look inward, to question not just the world but ourselves, to ask, what strength lies dormant in my silence? What wisdom might I uncover in the spaces between words? This journey through the introspective soul reveals a deeper truth. Silence is not absence, but presence, a presence so potent it defies the noise that seeks to drown it. The introvert's power lies in their refusal to be swayed by the superficial, their commitment to a life of depth and meaning. They are the quiet observers who see what others miss, the steady hands that guide when others falter, the minds that create when others merely consume. In a world obsessed with volume, they remind us that true influence needs no fanfare, only authenticity, only purpose, only the courage to stand apart. And yet, This is not a tale of introverts alone. The extrovert too has their place in this grand symphony, their energy a counterpoint to the introvert's calm. Together, they weave a harmony of contrasts, light and shadow, sound and silence, action and reflection. Philosophy, in its boundless love of wisdom, embraces both, urging us to learn from each, to find balance in the tension between them. The ancients understood this dance, their teachings a bridge across the divide, a call to integrate the strengths of both into a life well lived. For in the end, it is not the label we bear, introvert or extrovert, that defines us, but the choices we make, the virtues we cultivate, the legacy we leave behind. Let us pause here to reflect on the broader canvas of existence. The silent strength of the introspective soul is but one thread in the tapestry of human experience, yet it is a thread that binds us to the eternal. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The universe is change, our life is what our thoughts make it." The introvert, with their quiet mastery of thought, embodies this truth, shaping their world not through force but through intention. Nietzsche's existential cry, "Become who you are," echoes in their solitude, a challenge to forge an identity unbowed by the crowd. Epictetus' Stoic resolve, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters," lives in their resilience, a shield against the arrows of fate. Together, these voices form a chorus of wisdom, a guide for navigating the chaos of being. But wisdom is not a solitary pursuit. It is a gift shared, a flame passed from one soul to another. The silent ones, in their restraint, teach us patience. In their depth, they teach us empathy. In their focus, they teach us discipline. They remind us that power need not shout to be heard, that influence need not strut to be felt. In their presence, we learn to listen not just to words, but to the silences between them, to the truths they conceal. This is the essence of philosophy, not merely to know, but to understand, not merely to speak, but to live. As we delve deeper into this exploration, consider the implications for our own lives. How often do we fill the silence with noise, fearing what it might reveal? How often do we chase the approval of others, neglecting the approval of our own conscience? The introvert's path offers a counterpoint, a way of being that prizes authenticity over acclaim, substance over spectacle. It is a path not without its challenges, for to live quietly in a loud world is to swim against the current, to stand firm when others sway. Yet it is a path of profound reward, for in the stillness we find ourselves, in the quiet we hear the whispers of eternity. Let us extend this reflection to the realm of relationships, for the silent ones do not stand alone, they walk among us, shaping the bonds that define our days. Their reticence can be a gift, a space for others to speak, to be heard, to be seen. Yet, it can also be a barrier, a wall that others struggle to breach. Here, the wisdom of Guiguzi returns, reminding us that communication is an art that requires us to adapt, to listen, to meet others where they stand. With the introvert, we must bring patience. With the extrovert, we must bring presence. In both, we must bring honesty, for it is authenticity that bridges the gap between souls. And what of the world beyond the self? The silent strength of the introspective soul has implications far greater than the individual. It touches the fabric of society, the course of history. Think of the quiet revolutionaries who changed the world not with fanfare but with ideas, the philosophers who penned treatises in solitude, the inventors who toiled in obscurity, the leaders who listen before they lead. Their legacy endures not because they shouted, but because they thought, not because they demanded attention, but because they earned it. In an age of noise, of endless chatter, and fleeting trends, their example calls us to a higher standard, a life of depth amid the shallows. This is not to say that silence is the only path to wisdom, nor that introversion is the sole domain of virtue. The extrovert's fire, the ambivert's balance, each has its place, each its power. Yet, In the silent ones, we find a mirror for our own potential, a reminder that strength need not be loud to be real, that influence need not be brash to be lasting. Philosophy, in its boundless curiosity, bids us explore all facets of the human condition, to learn from the quiet and the loud alike, to weave a life that honors both. As we draw this exploration toward its close, let us return to the heart of the matter. The silent strength of the introspective soul is a call to presence, to purpose, to peace. It is a strength born not of absence, but of choice, a choice to listen, to reflect with intention. It is a strength that has shaped the course of human thought, from the Stoic meditations of Marcus Aurelius to the existential musings of Nietzsche, from the mindful stillness of Buddhist sages to the disciplined focus of Jain philosophers. It is a strength that lives in us all, waiting to be claimed, waiting to be lived. Dear seekers of ancient wisdom, we've journeyed through the silent depths of the introspective soul, uncovering a truth as old as time. In it lies a power that shapes destinies. From the stoic resilience of Marcus Aurelius to the creative genius of Steve Jobs, the introvert's strength shines as a beacon for us all, a reminder that true influence needs no fanfare, only authenticity. We've glimpsed the benevolence that binds us, the art of discourse that elevates us, and the trials that refine us into gems of wisdom. This is not just philosophy, it's a call to live with intention, to wield our silence as a sword and our kindness as a shield. What do you carry from this voyage? Share your thoughts below. Type 0 if it resonates, 1 if it falls short. Your voice fuels our quest. Don't pause here. Like, share, and subscribe to Ancient Wisdom for more voyages into the human spirit. And stay with us right after this. Join Sophia and Lucas as they delve deeper into these timeless ideas, offering fresh insights into the quiet strength that defines us. Thank you for your time, dear friends. May wisdom guide your path.
All right, so ready for another deep dive?
Absolutely, let's do it.
Today we're going to be looking at something kind of interesting.
Yeah.
The power of silence.
Okay.
So we're diving into introversion today.
But
not just like what it is,
Right.
but like why it's actually powerful.
Interesting.
Our source material today is this article,
Yes.
The Silent Strength of the Introspective Soul, with a pipe wisdom philosophy from the Ancient Wisdom website.
Okay, cool.
I think it's really fascinating because like the world's always telling us to be louder, to be more outgoing.
For sure.
But then you think about some of the most impactful people in history.
Like who?
Like Einstein,
Right.
Warren Buffett,
Okay.
Steve Jobs,
Yep.
like known for being quiet.
Interesting.
So I think there's something here for everyone.
Yeah.
Whether you consider yourself an introvert or not,
For sure.
because it's about harnessing that inner strength, you know?
Yeah, totally. So what's really fascinating about this article is this idea that those who master silence
Okay.
can actually have the most influence.
Really?
Think about it, right? Like a frog that's constantly croaking,
Okay.
it just becomes background noise.
Uh-huh.
But a rooster,
Okay.
that well-timed call signals change.
Oh.
You know, it grabs your attention.
Right, right. It's not about never speaking. It's about
intentionality.
Yeah, choosing when you speak.
Yes.
Like instead of just shooting arrows randomly,
Yeah.
you take your time.
You aim.
You aim, yeah.
Precisely. And that's what can make introverts so effective.
Okay.
It's not that they can't be outgoing or engaging.
Yeah.
It's that they're often more sensitive to stimuli.
Okay.
And they need that quiet time
Yeah.
to process and recharge.
Okay.
So there's this concept, it's sometimes called low arousal.
Low arousal.
Yeah, and it basically means that like an introvert's brain
Yeah.
is wired to filter information differently.
Okay.
So you might find, for example,
Yeah.
that you're easily overwhelmed by loud noises
Mm-hmm.
or really busy environments.
Right.
And that's because your brain,
Yeah.
it's working overtime to process all that input.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Now, their article actually calls out Steve Jobs
Oh,
in
yeah?
his autobiography
Okay.
and how he would deliberately like seek out solitude.
Right.
But I mean, like Einstein, Buffett, Jobs,
Yeah.
they're not exactly wallflowers, are they?
They're definitely not. And that's a key takeaway here.
Okay.
Introversion isn't about being incapable
Right.
of connection or leadership.
Okay.
Like think about Steve Jobs, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he famously said,
Yeah.
to be extroverted is necessary for life,
Okay.
but to be introverted is to live authentically.
Mm. Mm.
I think that's really profound.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
So introverts are often just really selective in their interactions,
Right. Okay.
choosing to prioritize, like depth over breadth.
Gotcha.
So that allows them to form strong bonds and make a lasting impact.
So how does this all work? This like silent strength?
Yeah.
Because the article calls it the
Yeah.
4 pillars of introspective might. And I'm intrigued.
It's a powerful concept.
Yeah.
The first pillar is power in stillness.
Okay.
So think of a river
Okay.
slowly carving stone over centuries. Right?
Yeah.
That
yeah.
gradual unseen force is incredibly transformative.
Huh. Interesting.
And that's what stillness can do for you.
Okay.
It allows you to tap into this deep well of inner strength.
Mm.
And like Marcus Aurelius said,
Yeah.
you have power over your mind, not outside events.
Okay.
Realize this, and you will find strength.
Okay. So stillness equals strength.
Yes.
What about the second pillar?
The second pillar is reveling in independence.
Okay.
And this really challenges the stereotype
Oh.
of introverts as being lonely or antisocial.
Right.
Because in fact,
Yeah.
solitude is often a source of energy and creativity for them.
Okay.
It's where they do their best thinking
Right.
and where they recharge their batteries. Like Nietzsche, the philosopher, he actually praised the solitary thinker,
Mm.
believing that it was essential for true originality.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
And that kind of leads into, I think, the third pillar then, right?
Does.
Focus as a weapon,
Yes.
which I think is a superpower in today's world.
Absolutely.
So many distractions.
All the time.
To be able to cut through all the noise and focus.
Especially.
Like, I know a lot of our listeners are probably thinking,
I bet.
how do I be more efficient? How do I get things done?
Exactly.
How do I cut through all this information overload?
Totally. And the article links this back to the teachings of Epictetus,
Okay.
another Stoic philosopher.
Okay.
And he really emphasized focusing on what's within our control.
Right.
And letting go of the rest.
Yeah.
And for introverts,
Yeah.
this focus can come naturally,
Okay.
right? Because their need for quiet and solitude
Okay.
helps them tune out that external noise
Uh-huh.
and hone in on what truly matters.
So we got stillness, independence, focus.
Yeah.
What's the fourth and final pillar?
The fourth pillar is well springs of creativity.
Ooh. Oh.
And this is where things get really exciting
Okay.
because it highlights the idea that introspection isn't just about thinking.
Right.
It's about fueling those aha moments,
Oh.
those breakthroughs in understanding
Okay.
that lead to new ideas and perspectives.
So it's not just about being in your head. It's about letting those thoughts actually fuel creation.
Exactly. And introverts, with their tendency towards deep thought and reflection,
Yeah.
are often tapping into this wellspring of creativity, even if they don't realize it.
So it sounds like we've uncovered some serious advantages
let's do
to
it.
introversion.
Absolutely.
But the article's honest too, right?
It is
Like there
honest.
can be some downsides.
Yeah.
Like sometimes introversion can be misinterpreted
Oh, yeah,
as
definitely.
being standoffish or aloof.
It happens all the time.
Yeah.
You're right. The article does acknowledge that there can be a shadow side to
Yeah.
introversion,
Right.
and it can lead to misunderstandings.
Yeah.
A lot of introverts feel this pressure
Hmm.
to wear, it's called an extroverted mask,
Okay.
you
Yeah.
know, to fit into a world
Right.
that prioritizes these outgoing personalities.
Right. Like you have to perform.
Exactly. You have to be on all the time.
Yeah.
And that can be exhausting.
Right.
Even someone like Guo Gang,
Okay.
he's a famous Chinese comedian,
Mm.
and he's talked about how different his onstage persona
Yeah.
is from his offstage self.
Yeah. I think a lot of people can relate to that feeling,
I think so too.
even if they don't consider themselves introverted,
Right.
that you have to be on sometimes.
And you have to play a role.
And it's draining.
It can be really draining.
Something else that really caught my attention
Right.
was this section on ancient wisdom for modern discourse.
Oh, interesting.
And it talked about these 4 maxims from this Chinese sage named Guiguzi.
Okay.
And it's all about how to speak to different types of people effectively.
Interesting.
So I thought that was really fascinating.
Yeah, what okay.
So, like, for example, he says, with the impoverished, speak with humility.
Okay.
Like, recognizing their struggles, approaching them with compassion.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So what about the second one?
Comes number 2.
With the eloquent, wheeled necessity.
Okay.
It's about getting straight to the point.
Cutting through the fluff.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And then the third one,
Yeah.
with the wealthy, exude presence.
Oh, interesting.
Like not trying to impress them
Yeah.
with flattery.
Genuine.
Yeah. And then the last one,
What's the final one?
with the petty leverage benefit.
Okay.
So it's like understanding what motivates them
Right. Their interests.
and framing it in a way that highlights how it benefits them.
Okay. So it's kind of strategic.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Oh, I thought these are really helpful
I bet
for like navigating.
all sorts of social situations.
Yeah, not even just for introverts.
And I think you're right.
But it's important to remember, like,
Yeah.
Guiguzi wasn't advocating manipulation.
Right.
He was writing about the art of leadership
Okay.
and persuasion.
Yeah.
It's about understanding human nature
Yeah.
and adapting your communication.
To create understanding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of communication,
Yeah.
the article also goes into this concept of benevolence,
Oh, interesting.
and it presents it as
Yeah.
a core element
Yeah.
of the introspective soul.
So it's about more than just being nice.
Right.
Right.
It's about cultivating specific character traits that
Right.
lead to positive action.
So it's about walking the walk,
Yes, exactly.
not just talking the talk.
Yeah. So what are those traits?
Well, the article outlined 6
Yeah.
key traits of a benevolent soul.
Okay.
Number 1 is refraining from blame.
Okay.
Number 2 is fulfilling your duties.
Oh, right.
3 is shunning greed. 4 is empathizing with others.
Gotcha.
5 is honoring gratitude.
Okay.
And 6 is forgiving those who have wronged you.
Wow. So those are big ones.
It's a tall order, right?
It is, but I like how they're all actionable.
They are.
It's not just about having good intentions. It's
Yeah.
about putting those intentions into practice.
Exactly. And the article gives a really great example
Uh-huh.
of this with a story about Han Ki.
Okay.
He was a Song Dynasty official.
Okay.
And one day, a soldier accidentally singed Han Ki's hair.
Oh.
I know, right? With a torch.
Oh.
But instead of getting angry or
Yeah.
punishing the soldier,
Right.
Han Ki forgave him,
Wow.
understanding that it was an accident.
Okay.
And this act of forgiveness
Yeah.
actually ended up strengthening the soldier's loyalty
Oh, okay.
and creating a more positive environment.
So it's choosing compassion over anger,
Yes.
even when it's difficult.
Even when it's hard, yeah.
Yeah.
And that kind of inner strength, that ability to choose compassion and understanding
Yeah.
is something that can be cultivated
Right.
through introspection and self-reflection.
Okay.
It's one of the many benefits of
Yeah.
embracing the power of silence.
Now, the article wraps up
Yeah.
with this really interesting story
Ah.
about tested virtue.
Okay.
And it uses this analogy of a pebble and a gem.
Okay.
It's about this young man
Yeah.
who's about to give up on life.
Oh, wow.
And he encounters this elder
Okay.
who shares this wisdom with him.
Interesting.
So what do you think? What's that analogy all about?
It's a beautiful analogy
Yeah.
that speaks to the transformative power of challenges,
Okay.
right? Like a plain pebble, it gets lost in the crowd.
Uh-huh.
But a gem,
Yeah.
polished by time and pressure,
Okay.
stands out with this brilliance.
So the challenges that we face,
Mhm.
the struggles, the moments of self-doubt,
Yeah.
those actually shape us.
They refine us
Yeah.
into something more beautiful and resilient.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah.
That reminds me of Nietzsche's concept
That's
of
good.
eternal recurrence.
Right.
Like, imagine living your life over and over again.
Oh, wow.
Would you be proud of the choices that you made?
That's a deep question.
Yeah, it's a powerful motivator to live intentionally
Absolutely.
and embrace those challenges
For sure.
to become the best version of yourself.
It's a profound thought,
Yeah.
and it connects so well
Yeah.
with this idea of tested virtue.
Right. It's not something to fear,
No,
but a way to grow.
exactly.
Wow. This has been
Yeah.
a lot to think about already.
It has.
But I'm curious.
Yeah.
Like, how do we actually harness that potential?
That's a great question.
Yeah, in our own lives.
Yeah.
Like, how do we take all this and apply it?
That is the question, isn't it? So where were we?
Well, we've been talking about introversion
Right.
and how it's not just shyness or being aloof.
Right.
It can actually be
Right.
a source of strength. Like we were looking at those examples,
Uh-huh.
Einstein, Buffett, Steve Jobs.
Yeah, incredible people.
And they achieved all this success
Yeah,
while embracing their introverted nature.
right, exactly.
And then we talked about the 4 pillars of introspective might
Yeah.
from that article, the silent strength of the introspective soul, the power of stillness,
Right.
reveling in independence,
Yeah.
focus as a weapon, and then tapping into those well springs of creativity.
That's right. And we were also talking about how
Yeah.
introversion
Yeah.
exists on a spectrum.
Right.
So not every introvert
Yeah.
experiences it in the same way.
For sure.
And many introverts find themselves like
Yeah.
adapting to a world that often favors extroversion.
Yeah. And we talked about that extroverted mask
Yeah.
and how it can be so exhausting.
So draining.
Like you're constantly performing
Yeah.
a version of yourself that isn't totally authentic.
It's not real, is it? You got to prioritize creating spaces
Yeah.
where you can be yourself.
Right.
Whether that's spending time alone,
Okay.
engaging in activities you love,
Yeah.
or connecting with people who get you,
Yeah. Yeah. Those people.
the ones who understand.
Yeah. Who appreciate your introverted nature.
Exactly.
And speaking of connecting with others,
Yeah.
we talked about those 4 maxims
Right.
from the Chinese sage Guiguzi,
Uh-huh.
which were really helpful advice
Yeah, they were good.
on how to talk to different types of people.
Like tailoring your communication style.
Yeah, exactly.
Like those maxims are all about understanding human nature
Mhm.
and adapting the approach
Yeah.
accordingly.
So, for example,
Yeah.
speaking with humility
Right.
to those who are struggling,
To those who are impoverished, yeah.
being direct,
Uh-huh.
and to the point with eloquent individuals,
Okay.
exuding presence with the wealthy,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then highlighting benefits
Right.
when you're talking to people who are more self-interested.
Gotcha. So it's like
Yeah.
really being aware
Yeah.
of who you're talking to
Yeah.
and what their needs are.
It's fascinating how these
I know, right?
ancient wisdom teachings
Yeah.
can still be relevant today.
They really can.
It reminds us that
Yeah.
communication's not just about speaking,
Right.
it's about listening,
Mhm.
observing, responding
Yeah.
in a way that builds
Yeah.
genuine connection.
It's a two-way street.
Exactly.
Right. It's about recognizing that
Yeah.
everyone communicates differently,
Right?
and we can have
Yeah.
stronger relationships
Uh-huh.
by adapting
Right.
to meet the needs
Yeah.
of that person.
Right. Of that individual.
Exactly.
Now, before the break,
Yeah.
we were talking about that concept of benevolence
Right.
and how it relates to introversion.
Yes. And remember,
Yeah.
it's not just about being nice.
Right.
It's about
Yeah.
actively cultivating those character traits
Okay.
that lead to positive action.
So it's about walking the walk
Exactly.
and not just talking the talk.
Yeah, let's dive a little deeper into those
Yeah.
6 traits
Right.
of a benevolent soul
Okay.
that the article highlights.
Okay, cool.
So the first one is refraining from blame.
Okay.
So that means choosing
Okay.
understanding over judgment,
Right.
recognizing that everyone makes mistakes,
Yeah. Yeah.
and assigning blame
Yeah.
rarely leads to positive outcomes.
It's about solutions.
Exactly.
Not fault.
Right. So the second trait is
Okay.
fulfilling your duties.
Okay.
And this isn't just about meeting obligations.
Right.
It's about going above and beyond,
Okay.
taking initiative,
Right.
contributing to the well-being of others.
So it's a sense of responsibility
Yeah.
and like a willingness to step up,
Absolutely.
even in small ways.
Yeah. The third trait is
Okay.
shunning greed,
Okay.
which is recognizing that true happiness
Right.
comes from inner fulfillment,
Right. Not material things
not from stuff.
or
Exactly.
validation from others.
Yeah.
It's about appreciating what you have.
Yes. And focusing on
Yeah.
experiences and connections
Yeah.
rather than constantly striving for more.
Right. The fourth one is
The fourth trait is empathizing with others.
empathizing. Okay.
It's crucial for
Wow.
building strong relationships,
Yeah.
creating a more compassionate world,
Right.
and it's about putting yourself in someone else's shoes.
Yeah, like
Really trying to understand their perspective,
even if you don't agree.
even if you don't agree. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like empathy is the foundation
For sure.
for understanding and connection.
Absolutely.
It's like recognizing that
Yeah.
we're all human
We are.
and we're all going through our own stuff.
Right. We all have our own challenges.
The fifth trait
The
is
fifth is honoring gratitude.
honoring gratitude. Okay.
So that's about actively appreciating the good things in your life. It's
Right.
both big and small.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's about cultivating that sense of thankfulness for the people, the experiences, the
Yeah.
opportunities that enrich your life.
Gratitude is so powerful.
It really is.
Like it shifts your focus
It does.
from what you lack.
to what you have.
Yeah. And it can transform your perspective.
It can change everything.
And then that last one.
The sixth and final trait
Yeah.
is forgiving those who have wronged you.
That's a tough one.
It is.
I think a lot of people struggle with forgiveness
it can be so hard.
because it can feel like
Yeah.
you're letting the other person
Right, off the hook.
off the hook.
But really, it's about freeing yourself
Right.
from those negative emotions.
Right. That are holding you back.
Exactly. And remember the story of Han Ki.
Yes. The Song Dynasty official
The one who forgave the soldier.
who burned his hair.
Yeah, it's a perfect example
Right.
of how forgiveness
Yeah.
can lead to greater loyalty and a more positive environment.
So how do we cultivate these traits?
That's the question, isn't it?
Like, is it something that comes naturally to introverts?
Well, I think introverts may be naturally inclined
Yeah.
towards introspection and self-reflection,
Okay.
which can definitely help develop those traits.
Right.
But I don't think benevolence is
Yeah.
exclusive to any personality type.
Okay.
It's a choice.
Right.
It's a commitment
Yeah.
to personal growth and ethical living.
So what are some
Yeah.
practical steps we can take?
I think it starts with awareness.
Okay.
Pay attention to your thoughts,
Okay.
feelings,
Yeah.
actions.
Yeah.
Notice when you're judging others
Okay.
or holding on to grudges
Right.
or acting out of self-interest.
Yeah.
Once you're aware of those patterns,
Right.
you can start to make different choices.
So it's like mindfulness practice,
It is.
but applied to our ethical behavior.
Exactly.
And you could focus on one trait at a time.
Yeah.
So like if you're working on forgiveness,
Yeah.
maybe start by forgiving yourself
Okay.
for past mistakes
That's a good place to start.
and then extend that forgiveness outwards
Yeah, to others.
to others.
That's a great tip.
Yeah.
I think practicing gratitude
Yeah.
could also be a good starting point.
Yeah, because it shifts your perspective
It does.
and it makes it easier to
Yeah.
cultivate those other
Yeah.
benevolent qualities.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah,
Gratitude is a powerful antidote
it is.
to negativity.
Yeah.
And it can help create a more positive and compassionate mindset.
Now, the article wraps up
It does.
with that analogy of the pebble
yeah.
and the gem, and it emphasizes how our challenges and struggles actually refine us
It too.
into something more beautiful.
They make us more resilient.
It's a good reminder that
Yeah.
imperfections
Yeah,
make us unique.
they do.
And struggles are opportunities
Opportunities for growth.
for growth. Yeah.
And transformation.
And introverts,
Yeah,
they spend so much time
they do.
in self-reflection.
They're always examining their thoughts and motivations,
Right.
working through their challenges, and emerging
Yeah.
stronger and more resilient.
And that reminds me of Nietzsche's idea
Yeah.
of eternal recurrence,
Wow.
like living your life over and over again.
Wow.
Would you be proud of the choices you made?
That's a powerful question.
It's a powerful motivator
It is.
to live with intention
Yeah.
and to embrace those challenges
For sure.
and to really become the best version of yourself.
It's a profound concept
Yeah.
that encourages us to make choices
Yeah.
aligned with our values
Right.
and view those struggles
Yeah.
as stepping stones
stepping stones.
on the path to personal growth.
It sounds like this journey
Yeah.
of embracing introversion
Right.
isn't just about understanding your strengths, but also about cultivating
Yes.
like a deeper sense of inner peace
Uh-huh.
and compassion
Yeah.
and purpose.
You got it.
Wow. This has been
Right.
such an insightful exploration.
It has.
But I'm curious,
Yeah.
what are some practical ways that introverts can actually
Yeah.
harness their silent strength to make a difference?
That's a great question and one that we will address next time.
So we're back, and we've been on this deep dive into introversion.
Yeah. It's been quite a journey, hasn't it?
It really has.
You've been talking about how introversion is more than just a personality trait.
Right. It's like this source of
Yeah.
unexpected strength.
And even in a world
Yeah.
that seems to favor extroverts.
Yeah, like we were just talking about.
Right before the break.
How introversion can lead to
Yeah.
developing benevolence, like those traits,
Mhm.
forgiveness, empathy, a strong sense of duty.
I think it's been really eye-opening
Yeah.
to see how those inner qualities can actually impact
Yeah.
our actions and relationships.
In the real world, yeah, like that ripple effect.
Exactly.
Or pebble in a pond.
Yeah, it's like the work we do on ourselves.
Right.
The values we cultivate
Yeah.
in those quiet spaces,
Yeah.
they don't stay hidden.
Right.
They ripple outwards
Right.
and influence how we interact with others
Right.
and how we contribute to the world around us.
Now, the article, The Silent Strength of the Introspective Soul,
Right.
it leaves us with a pretty powerful challenge.
Oh,
It asks,
yeah.
how often do we fill the silence with noise? And are we seeking the right kind of approval?
Those are tough questions.
They are tough questions.
And for introverts,
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
they can be particularly potent.
Right.
It's like this invitation
Yeah.
to examine our motivations
Yeah.
and ask ourselves, are we living in alignment with our values?
You're right.
Or are we just chasing that external validation?
The gut check. Am I finding this because it really matters to me?
Right.
Or am I just trying to please others?
Yeah, and that's where the
Yeah.
true power of silence comes in.
Okay.
Because it gives us that space
Yeah.
to connect with our authentic selves,
Okay.
to figure out what we believe in,
Right.
and to make choices that reflect those values.
So even though the world might be telling us
Right.
to be louder,
That's
to
right.
be more outgoing,
To be more, yeah.
this article is saying
Yeah.
our silence, our need for solitude,
Okay.
that's not a weakness.
Why?
That could be the key
Yeah.
to unlocking our true strength.
And then using that strength to make a difference.
Right. You don't need to shout to be heard.
Exactly.
Sometimes the most impactful voices
Yeah.
are the ones that speak thoughtfully.
With intention.
Yeah, think about it.
Yeah.
Some of the most influential figures in history
Yeah.
weren't the loudest.
Right, like philosophers,
Yeah.
artists,
Yeah.
leaders.
It wasn't about volume.
Right.
It was about depth.
About having something meaningful to say
Yeah.
and knowing when to say it.
So how can introverts
Okay.
harness that silent strength?
Okay, well, first and foremost,
Yeah.
embrace your introversion.
Okay.
Don't try to be someone you're not,
Right.
like your need for quiet time,
Yeah.
your thoughtfulness, your ability to focus deeply.
Yeah.
Those are assets,
Yeah.
not liabilities.
Okay, so play to your strength.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now think about the areas
Yeah.
where you're truly passionate,
Okay.
where your values align with your actions. That's where you'll find the most fulfilling and impactful ways
Okay.
to contribute.
So someone who's passionate about the environment,
Yeah.
they could become a researcher
Right.
or an advocate
Yeah.
working behind the scenes
Make it a difference.
to make a difference.
That's a great example.
Or someone who's deeply empathetic.
Right.
Maybe they go into counseling,
Yeah. Social work.
social work.
So many options.
Yeah, finding that sweet spot
Yeah.
where your passions and the needs of the world meet.
Absolutely.
And introverts,
Yeah.
they often excel at
Yeah.
written communication.
They do.
So blogging, writing articles, even social media posts
Those can be powerful.
to share ideas
Yeah.
and influence others.
Exactly. So even though we might not be the life of the party,
Right.
we can still be powerful agents of change.
And don't underestimate
No.
the power of those one-on-one connections.
Yeah, those are so important.
Because introverts,
Right.
they form deep, meaningful relationships.
They do.
And those connections can be so influential.
It's true. Sharing your ideas,
Yeah.
your passions with the people you care about.
Yeah.
It creates this ripple effect
Right, like planting seeds.
of inspiration.
Letting them take root
Yeah.
and grow.
And finally,
Yeah.
self-care.
Oh, that's crucial.
It's essential.
Especially for introverts.
Yeah.
They need time to recharge.
To process, to
Mm.
connect with their inner world.
Yeah, you can't pour from an empty cup.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So embrace your introversion.
Yeah.
Cultivate your strengths.
Okay.
And don't be afraid to make your voice heard
Yeah.
in a way that feels authentic to you.
Right, the world needs that.
Yeah, your unique perspective
Yeah.
and your quiet power.
This has been
I know, right?
such a great reminder
Yeah.
that silence isn't about being passive.
No?
It's about harnessing that inner strength
It is.
to create meaningful change.
Exactly.
You don't have to be the loudest to make a difference.
You really don't.
Thank you for joining us
It's been a pleasure.
on this exploration of the silent strength
Yes.
of the introspective soul.
We hope this has inspired you
Yeah.
to embrace your introversion
Yeah.
and use those unique gifts
Light
to make the world
a little brighter.
a little bit better.
Keep diving deep.
Keep seeking wisdom
Yeah.
and keep believing in the power of quiet strength.